Hi everyone, welcome to Legally Yours. I'm here again with the absolutely brilliant Ricky Nowak. And in this episode, Ricky's actually going to talk us through a real life example of where she worked with a lawyer, how that lawyer presented, what she actually did with that lawyer, and what the end result was for that lawyer. So thank you for joining me, Ricky.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk through it. So talk me through a real life example of where you've actually helped a lawyer to develop their leadership skills and their confidence. Talk me through.
So let's call Keith a person. We're going to call him not necessarily the lawyer, but we're going to call him. We're going to call Keith. Keith is the person. And this person, Keith, came to me and said, "Look, my partners in the firm said, you know, I'm not really connecting very well with my clients anymore, and I'm a little bit arrogant, and I really need to get my act together because my team here aren't even listening to me. So I better do something. And what do you do anyway?" I said, "It's actually not about what I do, Keith. It's about what do you do?" He said, "Well, you know, I'm a lawyer." And I said, "Good. And what else do you do?" He said, and he talked to me about his role in business building and mergers and acquisitions and the whole list. I said, "No, but really, what do you do?" And he said, "Well, I make things happen." I said, "Okay, go on." And he told me a little bit about his role. And I said, "So now tell me about you. Yeah. Can you, if you were to describe yourself, can you tell me about you?" He said, look, you know, how much are you being paid for this?" And I said, "So, okay, maybe I'll tell you about you from what I see already, and maybe we can actually go from there." So he sort of shifted a little bit. He said, "Yeah, so like what?" All of a sudden his level of interest changed because it was going to be about him. Yeah. Anyway, we talked a little bit about my perception. I took what I felt were some of the blind spots coming from him about why we were actually in the room. Yeah. And I said, "Can you give me a scenario in which you feel you could have done different? Just different. Doesn't have to be massively better, but just different. And maybe we can then work on how you can continually to leverage the better."
Yes.
So he said, "Well, all right, seeing you're asking. I had to do a favour for a friend." He said he wanted me to see a young son of a friend of his because there was a conflict of interest if he was going to meet with him. And he wanted me to just give him some business advice. The guy had started a new business. He was doing quite well, apparently. He was in IT. But, you know, like all of these young people, they all say they're doing okay. And I said, "Well, how long is it going to do I have to spend with him?" He said, "Listen, you don't actually have to spend too long. Just give him some time because I know he's looking for a lawyer." So he moaned and he groaned and he said, "Okay, I'll do it." And he met, you know, Josh at 1 o'clock over lunch because he thought that would be quick in and out. And as he walked into the boardroom where Josh was sitting, he looked at his watch and said, "Right, on 1 o'clock, I'll give him 6 minutes and then I can go." So when he walked in, Josh was sitting there looking very today in his, you know, terrific black outfit with his bald head, earring and his earpiece. He looked the part and he said, "G'day, Josh. Keith," he said, "I know who you are." He said, "I believe you started a business." "Yeah, and I need some help." "Well, what do you need help on?" "I'm looking for a lawyer." "So why should I help you?" He said, "Well, that's what I'm here to determine, why you should help me and if you're the right lawyer for me." He said, "Well, I believe you're doing some work in IT." He said, "Yes." He said, "Have you got a balance sheet, anything yet to show me?" He said, "Well, actually I have." And he opened up his tablet and there was the most amazing predictive balance sheet of today and tomorrow with assets in the bank and a fabulous business plan. So Keith sort of took a double take at this and he said, "So you just go back with me. You've been in business for how long?" He said, 18 months. "And this is what you've generated already?" He said, "Yeah." "And these are the predictions?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Look, sure, I'm sure we could help you." To which Josh turned around and said to him, "You know, Keith, I didn't come here to give you my business. I came here to ask you why I should." Keith didn't get the job that day. He left a lot of money on the table that day and he left a lot of money on the table on other days. Now, here's the thing. When we got down to that story, I was able to work with Keith in a series of one-on-ones, not for very long. I didn't need to work with him for 6 months. He's smart. He got it What we needed to do was work on pushing back his perception that people are not as clever as him, number one. We had to work on a better communication style and understanding different styles, number two. Number three was his position to take second position. Was he in a position to listen to someone else without trying to solve someone else's problem, without building a relationship? That was session 3. In session 4, we brought all the partners together and we looked at the acquisition of new business. So there were really 4 sessions. So what I like to do working with people is look at a specific scenario that they've experienced, that they're perhaps considering, maybe a little bit anxious about, or have said, oh, you know, given my relationship or lack of with someone, maybe there is a different way, because it's a commercial imperative that we get this stuff right, because the business is not coming to us in the same way anymore as lawyers. There's discretional pieces that may come in, but a big body may go elsewhere, because the way people are integrating with professional services, not just law, but accounting and insurance and anything else, has changed.
And you know what, Ricky, I got shivers when you told that story, because, you know, the character of Keith, or who Keith is, I mean, that's not uncommon. I think, you know, there's lots of Keiths in lots of firms, but there's also conversely lots of Joshes. And this is the thing that I say to lawyers. We are in a really competitive legal market, but also we're in a market where there's so much more business to go around. So what we're sort of dealing with is that you're now finding the rise of these firms who, unlike Keith, don't make assumptions. They come in and they really sell their services. They're about customer service. They're about understanding their client and acquiring clients like Josh, because they know how valuable they are. And so absolutely there needs to be this real transition around, you know, what they see their value is and what they can deliver, and really matching. So I absolutely love what you do. And I really think one of the brilliant things I love is that sort of experience that you provide in all your sessions. You're all about the role play, which I know lawyers hate, because often they'll say to me in presentations, don't make us role play, or I don't want to do this. But it's the experience that we're giving them. It's that experience of uncomfortableness that next, when that scenario presents, they won't feel that as much, because they would have already experienced it. So
and I think that we can even shift the term role play to just talk about the scenario, but use the language that you would normally use. And in that way, we can hear it, because it's not just the words that they're saying. I want to pick up on the intonation, the inflection. I want to pick up on the pace. We have blind spots so often when we're delivering information, because with every little piece of information, somebody is processing something about that you may not have even guessed or known. And they're making assumptions, and their behaviour will, as a response to you, will be very much predicated on what they took away. And if there's something in what you've said or done inadvertently, without any malice, without any bad feeling, just because you didn't stop with intent to think about that before, then that could be enough to say, well, I don't want to work with you, or God, I can't get out of this meeting fast enough, or you know what, you want that body of work from me, Mr. Partner, but it might wait, because right now I'm really upset, or I'm angry, or I'm confused, and I haven't got a clue about what you really want, but I can't tell you that because right now I'm too upset or I'm overwhelmed. And if I can't express that back to you, then we break that communication. And once that's gone, time lapses, you know, and pressures on other people in the team. And that's what I'm all about, to try and help pull that all back together again.
Absolutely. Well, if this is resonating out there and you would like to access Ricky's services, you can actually go to rickynovak.com. You can actually email Ricky direct at ricky@rickynovak.com, and that's Novak with a N-O-W-A-K.
Thank you.
Ricky, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited that you're working with our lawyer community, that we're going to do a couple of events together. And
thank you.
I'm just really excited about this collaboration. And thank you very much for joining, and thank you out there for watching as well. Thank you.